with Yogi Bhajan were really intense and obviously traumatizing. But the impact of what others have done, like you're still connected in the community. And I kind of want to get a sense of that with you. Like, how do you deal with that? Because you've had not a lot of support in your own healing, you know?
I'm not sure. Like, well, I mean, I still have all of my family are all part of 3HO.
So how do you deal with that? How do you interact in that way? How do you handle what with that?
I mean, okay, so 9 years of therapy. The first part of therapy was literally just going, okay, well, you were in a cult, and you have to come to terms with what a cult. And I spent a long time really I would laugh about my experiences in India. I'd laughed about Yogi Bhajan. When I lived in LA, after I left, I would tell my friends, "Oh, I was in a cult," but I would laugh about it, and no one knew. No one had ever heard of it. They didn't know who Yogi Bhajan was. They didn't know what Kundalini Yoga is. Now it's super different. I get random people being like, "Oh, I heard I'm taking a Kundalini Yoga class. Do you know anything about it?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do. I do know something about Kundalini Yoga." But at the time, nobody knew, and I just kind of laughed about it, and I had moved on and just kind of disassociated from that whole experience. And you know, I even took on a nickname. I didn't go by Meeri anymore. I was tired of explaining my name, and you know, and so it wasn't until I actually began to really work on. I got trapped in another cult actually while I was in LA, and I think that I was primed to be in another cult because of my because of being in 3HO. Actually, I think I wanted that narrative that I was no good stuck with me, and so I was trying to prove that I was good by being in a very extreme cult, even though I didn't realize that's what was going at. Again, this is all in hindsight.
Sure.
But I wasn't conscious of the abuse, and so it really took going through psychotherapy for about 8 years to even get to the point of grieving and admitting the true depth of what being in a cult did to me, and what a cult does. It takes away your autonomy. It takes away your family dynamic. It takes away. There's so many things that I suffered from as a result of being in 3HO, but the main one is just essentially being forced as a kid to raise myself. I realized like I had this feeling of being an orphan.
Yeah.
My whole entire life. That's looking back at it, I was in charge of me. My parents were not there for me. They were busy doing the cult. They were busy doing everything, and they suffered as well, and still are. But they didn't. They gave up a lot of the responsibility of being parents. And so the result is like I remember doing incredibly adult things as like a 4-year-old. I remember cleaning the bathroom in the Broadway ashram in LA at age between 3 and 4, cleaning a bathroom. Can you imagine kids today doing that? Like but yeah. So I was. And still am having. So the first part was like cult. It's a cult.